and they've got a special announcement towards the end we're going to be doing, but we're also going to be taking your questions tonight. So thank you so much for coming and joining us. Hope you got some great questions for the Reaper team. Definitely appreciate you guys being here. But without further ado, make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Go check out thereaper.io. And without further ado, we'll get started. So Patrick, team, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having us on again, JT. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So you want to go ahead and for those of you who were not introduced to the new CFO or didn't catch the news, you want to do some introductions?
Yep. So Sam, go ahead. I'll let you introduce yourself. I couldn't do it better.
All right. I'm Sam Wagner, and obviously brought on as the CFO. Got about 20 years of a variety of background in different finance, everything from regional director for the 9th largest direct lender in the nation. Had my securities license for about 4 years and worked with small businesses in mutual funds, securities, etc. I've been in the credit repair space, worked for some of the biggest outfits out there for about 4 years, and currently own a credit repair company right now with Jason as a business partner of mine as well. And we do, pretty high volume credit repair company trying to help people, get into better situations with their debt and learn how to budget and leverage their finances to buy houses or to be able to use that extra money they're saving to build, a future for their family.
Awesome. That's really cool. I've been in the mortgage industry, so I've directed people to people like yourself because they need that. So really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Do you guys in the audience have any questions? Make sure to go ahead and put them in the chat. We will be answering those today, and I already see one here. We'll get to them in a second. If you happen to get missed or you feel like you're getting missed, please do not hesitate. Do not spam, but please do not hesitate to put them again in the chat if I'm happening to miss it. I'm human. Things happen, and sometimes the chat can get pretty hectic. So please keep that in mind. And if there is anything, put it in the comments below after the video. I'll be happy to try to do a follow-up and get you the answer for whatever you need as well. So without further ado, let's start with our first question here tonight. It's, can this token make to tier 1 exchanges by any chance? And so,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So as of today, Coinbase is tracking Reaper price, which is probably not coincidental to some other efforts by our team. So it's only a matter of time. We're going to be noticed, and we're going to be on those top tier exchanges. And really, that's all we're looking for is top tier exchanges. We don't do. We're not interested in being on bottom tier exchanges at all. So we're only interested in quality, and that's what we're here to provide.
Gotcha. And so for those of that may have gotten into the question, like, what would you consider a tier 1 exchange? Or I know that also like Uphold has different tiers for where you're listed on the exchange, for example. So for those who may not be as familiar, can you go into a little bit more detail about what that means?
Yeah, sure. So a tier 1 would be probably within the top 10 exchanges. So we're looking at Coinbase, Binance. We're looking at Uphold as far as being an XRP top tier exchange. UOB or KuCoin, Gemini, exchanges that are out of the US that are regulatorily already have some clarity and have the permission to do business in the US. Those are what we consider our top tier.
Gotcha. Someone says they wouldn't say no. Like, of course, but yeah, you guys are pretty awesome. So I think that y'all will get there for sure. Especially once you start reaping tokens that are, I consider, more out there and popular, which we'll see what the next reaping holds, right? And those random choices. We should do that live at some point. That'd be kind of cool to see. You guys have any more questions? Question. Just go ahead and put it up here. The drip. There are 3 different markets listed on the white paper: XRP, stablecoin, and Nexo. How does XRP and stablecoin provide interest?
So that's an example, right, of certain avenues of maximizing that financial return. So the reason we would do interest in XRP, which is only about 5% when you have 10% of your holdings on Nexo in Nexo token. So that 5% is good as long as XRP's price is rising, right? Alternatively, the stablecoin, the USDC, is going to pay out at 20% APR. So it's going to pay out a higher percentage of interest than XRP. So what we're essentially doing is we're hedging against XRP volatility with the stablecoins. So if XRP goes up, the value of the interest you're getting is good. If it doesn't go up or if it even goes down, we're able to purchase more XRP with the interest earned off the stablecoin to turn into the XRP that you receive on the drip. So that way we're protecting against downside and hedging our bet.
Gotcha. Hope that answers the question. And if not, please make sure to follow up. There's another one from Head Honcho. How does your plan to modify your business model to help the project instead of reaping them?
So I'm not real clear on how they phrased that question. So how do you plan to modify your business model to help project instead of reaping them? So we are helping the project. We're not necessarily helping the price. So that's something that the community has to understand, is that a lower supply for a project is a good thing because the demand has not changed in the long term. But what we've done is basically we've created a burn mechanism for a project that didn't necessarily have any means of burning unless they wanted to go out and buy off the market themselves. Traditionally, most companies that did do burns were burning from their own dev tokens, from their own wallets. So there was actually no effect from that burn on the price and the economy. We're removing things out of the actual economy with buy orders, and that's why reaping is healthy for that project. Not necessarily going to increase the price every time. As we all know, it's crypto, it's volatile.
Mm-hmm. And also, you mentioned before the weak hands argument. Like, for those who have weak hands, don't really believe in the project, and I believe there was something to that, right?
So if it's somebody who wants their token reaped and wants out of it, then they can vote to reap their own other holdings. And by voting against their other holdings, they give themselves an avenue to sell at whatever their sell order is, as opposed to selling into the buy orders.
Gotcha. I think I actually thought someone has their Reaper token as DMAX. So I did not. I may have skipped your question. So I apologize, because I thought that was somebody in response to something. So let me go back here, as I just now noticed this. Says, will we be able to receive the XRP drips if the government requires us to do a buyback?
So if XRP became non-tradable and it was no longer able to be owned by retail investors, we would switch to an alternative drip payment that would still not be in Reaper token. So we would either, given that we're on the XRP ledger and that most of that is, it wouldn't necessarily work to take away XRP, but if it came to it, we would switch to either a stable coin on the XRP ledger or something of that nature to still pay out the drip. It just wouldn't be Reaper.
Gotcha. Okay. And then along with that question was, if so, how? So I'm pretty sure you explained that, right? So
yeah,
just make sure I get all of his, because he had the Reaper. I thought that was one of you guys, so he's a very devoted fan. Because
that's great.
He fooled me. He got me. If XRP will not be used for the retailer, how will we still be able to claim our XRP drips? Which you already kind of went into that.
We would have to switch to an alternative currency.
Gotcha. Okay. Of course, Jay Atkins says, "Hey, guide to the moon." I think that's the end of the questions, unless oh, nope, got one right here. So how will we see a fair market price of Reaper increase over the long term? By Rich.
So our announcement tonight is going to give a big indication of why that's going to work out in everybody's favor. I think we'll see a lot of favorable price action that follows, but as always, not financial advice.
Yes. Oh no, this is financial advice. This is all them announcing and education for you guys. So, it hasn't been asked yet. I want to put this up there. So it's for Jay Atkin, Kansas present. Thank you from Kansas. If it hasn't been asked yet, can we please explain the purpose again for folks regarding the REAP and the vote to the REAP? So just, I guess, kind of a reiteration.
Yep. So the reaping is a 1% inflation monthly, never more than, and we sell that onto the market, onto the Reaper buy orders. And that creates opportunity on the Reapers buy and sell books. And then we take that and we go to whatever tokens were voted for by Reaper token holders. And we have a working blockchain voting mechanism. Don't tell the government, they'll never use it. But anyway, we go and we purchase at market from the sell book, whatever token is for sale that was voted on, and we destroy those tokens. So it's basically a community DAO type burning mechanism.
Gotcha. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to put them in the chat if you need more detail, or I have some videos if you want to figure out how to go vote, create a Zum wallet to get into Reaper and so forth. So check those out. I'll put those in the description after the video, or I may put them in the chat here in a second. We'll see. But other ones, Bogger Boy says thumbs up. We love the thumbs. And then DMAC also asks, is he allowed to use the hourglass for his Twitter profile pic?
So if you want to use an hourglass, go for it. As long as your name is not saying that you're officially associated with Reaper in any way. We have had some scammers already, and I think that's probably an indication of success that we have impersonators. But yep, just as long as you're using it, but clear that you're not part of the team, go for it.
Gotcha. Where else? Is this Reaper seemed to be a little counterproductive compared to some other projects. Do you want to address that elephant? And
counterproductive compared to what other projects? But if we're going to compare, we need to know what we're comparing to.
If we're comparing to reaping projects, then you're very productive, right? So, So the vote to reap Reaper seemed to be counterproductive. What say you to that question?
Yep. So we as a team, I think unanimously agree on that. And we knew it would be counterproductive. However, our community wanted that and had asked if we would be a reapable token. And just to make all things fair and for transparency's sake, we included ourselves as a reapable token. And now that the result has been seen, I doubt it'll be voted on again.
Gotcha.
God, I hope we never
throw those links in there. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said I hope we never vote on that again. That was such a waste of a vote.
Yeah, I thought it was very meta, and I appreciate that it happened at least early on in the project, so we get that out of the way. But yeah, so we'll ask another question here. Dustin Pool, supply is increased by 1% each month. This is sold after 80 cents, and 47% goes back to the drip. Excuse me. Will holders truly gain more interest since supply increases? So good idea to continue to buy with the drip.
Yep. So Dustin, your numbers are a little bit rough there. I'm not exactly seeing where you get the 0.80 or the 47. So just to be clear, it'll be 50% will go towards the reaping fund, and 3% of that 50% is held for operating costs. The other 50% is for the drip fund. Just to clarify that. So the 1% increase, to put that into perspective, would take about 60 years for us to have a parity with the XRP supply. So starting at 100 million tokens, and given the valuation of other cryptocurrencies in the top 200 all passing $1 billion in this last bull run, I don't think that our supply is in any danger of threatening the growth of this project.
Interesting. So this isn't a question; it would be a comment. And since someone would buy 5K USD into if they put Sologenic for the next REAP, and my response to that is, if you want Sologenic to be the next REAP, it has to randomly come up in the randomizer, and then if you bought 5K, you'd have a pretty good. I would assume, I don't know how it's all stacked, but you'd have a pretty good ability to vote for it then, right? So, you have any comments to that?
Yeah, so I think our announcement coming up tonight will clarify where that's possible, and it's a good thing. I don't want to tease too much. We got about 55 people in the room, so I'll cut right to it so that people can ask their questions about
Gotcha.
it. So
Okay.
we are starting the drip as of the next reaping, and the way this is going to work is there's going to be a 50% of the 1% inflationary sale is going to go towards the reaping, and that reaping percentage that will be used for a split between every token that is voted. So if, for example, XDoge gets 12% of the vote and XRDoge gets 9% and whatever it is, we're going to be splitting those reaping funds between everything voted. So no matter what you vote for, it's going to get a percentage of the reaping funds. The drip, what we're doing is we're going to use 25% for the drip fund that will start the interest-bearing account. And the other 25% we're calling a drip stimulus. So 25% of whatever the sale is will automatically be dripped to everybody following the reaping. So it will be, for now, a bi-monthly drip. And then once we get back past 40 cents, it will be a weekly drip. And to put that in a perspective, the 25% of our smallest reaping fund ever would be 6 times what we had in the test drips to be dripped to everybody. And in our largest reaping ever, it would be about 48 times the test drip in our second reaping, when we had about 98,000 XRP for that second reaping. So that's a pretty hefty, passive income, and we're excited to get that started. And it's important to us to deliver quickly and in a succinct manner. We have worked with Strategy Engine, and there is now a option to remove the blacklist. So everybody who owns any Reaper will receive XRP in the drip.
Wow. Think you all just blew everyone's minds here. So I'm going to take a second for the wait till those questions come in. We had some other questions before you dropped that bombshell on us. So I'm going to get to those and let the other questions flow in. So
Okay.
we'll start here. Can we vote on what we will receive if the government does do a buyback?
Yeah, we could probably do that, but it will be limited to what we are able to send out as a drip.
Okay. All right. And then, so for those who don't know what the drip is, please do a brief outline.
So the drip is basically a interest payment. So we're going to be sending XRP to the trust lines of RPR holders, and it's going to be relative to your Reaper token holdings. So you'll get a specified amount per each Reaper token. And so if you own just the airdrop, you're going to be receiving XRP just to hold that airdrop that you got a few months ago.
Wow. Now, I wish I bought a ton more Reaper like right now, because I could just see everyone like going in. But anyways, wait for some other opportunity, I guess. But there's never a good time like now. But we will reap. Let's show this again. I can't read it behind the button sometimes. Will Reaper be on the list to be reaped again?
It will be on the randomizer. Now that we're going to every vote counts, it's not going to matter much if it's on the vote or not, because whatever you vote for, that's getting reaped. And the only thing it would do to vote for Reaper is just decrease our supply a little bit. It wouldn't really it would in no way damage anybody who's holding Reaper.
Gotcha. I'm showing so many questions. I'm just going to say there's someone giving a shout out from the Philippines, so I want to make sure that's there.
Salamat po.
Yep. And then see if I got more here. Did you guys? No, yes, we did just make the announcement, and so I'm pretty sure if you saw that, then you were good. If you didn't hear the announcement, make sure to say it again in the chat. I'll look for it. Can you provide a description of the vision of how reaping debt will work?
So basically the way it's going to work is you're going to log into our platform and you'll have a username and password like anything else with your 2FA. And once you log in and verify your identity, what you'll be able to do is create a custom pairing. That custom pairing is going to ask you to put in your routing number and account number for your debts. And then we'll do a soft credit pull. That soft credit pull will verify that that debt is actually in existence and belonging to either you or someone that you've chosen to pay their debts for them. And then you'll have that as a voting option. So in the future, when you vote for reaping, you'll be able to vote on your own debt or custom pairing that you put in the system.
Gotcha.
Hey,
I just want to.
Can you check the chart real quick?
Can I check what? Sorry.
Check the chart.
Oh, check the chart. Probably. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Just pulling this up so I can throw it over here.
We're not all about price here, but we do enjoy a good price movement.
Yeah. So, okay, well, there's that. So that's interesting. We'll go back to the Reaper now, but we'll keep touch with that. I'll just keep that over here in the corner, and we'll see what happens.
Yet, but I don't know what's going on. But
okay, yeah, we don't know what's going on here. Nothing to see here, right? There's nothing tuning in, but you should still tune in. Let's see if I go back here. XRP, if it becomes a reserve bridge currency or a worldwide stablecoin, what does that make RPR?
So that makes us successful, if I'm being blunt, because we are hitching our price and our wagon to XRP. So if XRP goes down, you get more XRP from the drip. If XRP goes up, the value of the drip is higher and the value of owning Reaper is higher.
Gotcha. All right. And I'm just going to say real quick, I just want Jason, and we've had the CFO who is new, who's Sam, introduce himself. I want Jason and to Steven just to real quick introduce themselves as well, because it might spur more questions to know a little bit more about what they do on the project as well. So Jason, you want to start off?
Sure. So yeah, I'm the lead developer. So basically I'm just working in the background, getting things working, built the website. We're doing some work on some additional ways to do some drips and stuff. Just developing. And I kind of have my hands in a little bit of everything. We kind of all do, but yeah, that's just happy to be on the team.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all of you for the drip and everything that you're working on as the dev for sure. Steven, what about you?
So I'm Steven. I'm one of the founders. I'm the marketing manager. I take care of marketing, community outreach. I deal with Twitter, Discord, Telegram, on very rare occasions, Reddit. Reaching out to influencers, figuring out what we're doing for our paid marketing and advertising and stuff like that. So that's what I do with the Reaper.
Gotcha. Let me know if you have any questions for them and what they do, but we'll get back here at the questions here. If we were able to keep RPR, will we be able to one day stake RPR?
So you don't need to stake RPR. Just by holding it on a trust line, you'll be receiving XRP drips simply by having it. So there's no mandatory staking. You don't have to push a button, nothing like that. All you got to do is have a trust line.
Gotcha. And the next question is kind of long, but essentially it equates to timelines are moving up. Are other timelines moving up? And does this mean we'll be able to reap debt sooner than we think?
I hope so. We set out rough timelines when we started this project, and we're just now, I think today's the 19th, right?
Yes.
So that means exactly 3 months ago today, we started our airdrop, after announcing. So we're now moving into actively doing 2 utilities and every vote counting, as well as the drip. So I think if we keep this pace, we could be reaping debt much sooner, but I don't want to promise anything that I can't deliver. So we're just going to keep working on it, and we'll get it to you as soon as we can.
Yep. And things change in crypto daily, so you never know, what new innovation is going to hit, or what technology hits that makes something else more feasible, or some change in the market. So always stay tuned, guys. It's crypto, you never know. The Reaper team is respected in the community because they were doxxed from day one. Are you guys going to do something about the rug pulls happening? We need some people like you there. Any thoughts?
Yes, so we are doing something about that, and we have the block, which is the Blockchain Leadership Oversight Council, which we are a member development team of that. And JT, I know you are also a party within that organization. So we are helping the block to develop basically a constitution, which is going to be released soon, which will be giving the rights of the users, of the customers out in the crypto sphere, putting that on paper and saying that these are the rights that every project owes you. And with that, every organization, every dev team that signs up to be a part of the block is holding themselves to that standard. And we'll be pushing forward that way so that you'll know by the block seal of approval what is a project that is noteworthy and what is reputable. And the ones that don't have that, you probably want to ask questions.
Gotcha. Appreciate the question, Ravi. And next we're going to go to Dustin here. I own a software company and would like to contribute to automating the reaping of tokens to make every token count. Any possibility of collaboration?
Absolutely. Get in contact with myself or the Reaper official page, or Jason is our lead developer. Any of us on Twitter will get you pointed in the right direction, or through our Telegram.
Absolutely.
Reaper Army grows, guys. Go ahead.
Reach out on Twitter, because we have those spam people that come in on Telegram, so you might accidentally get banned in that. So.
Gotcha. And if you can't get in touch, you can always reach out to me. I'll forward your message to them or let them know you're reaching out as best I can. But don't spam me either. But I will help where I can. So what? Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm trying not to do that, guys. It becomes such a habit. Yes, Rosemary, great to see you again. And sorry, I'm going through all the chats. It's great to see.
So I do see a question here for Steven about the merchandise. Steven, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Sure. What was the question about?
They just want to know about the merch.
When it's going to be out, what's going to be on it? What are they? So we're still waiting. We were supposed to have prices over, I don't know, 4 days ago at this point, 3 days ago. So I sent our supplier a message, I don't know, maybe 8 hours ago. Once they get back to us on pricing, I just have to wait for the approval from Patrick for funds, and then we should be good to go.
Yep. So hopefully
on a side note, is there any way we can drop a couple sneak peeks for people yet? Or are we not there?
Yeah, let me I'll send them to JT, because I'm on mobile, so I
Gotcha.
can't hold them up on my phone.
Where are you sending them to? Twitter?
I'll send them to Twitter, yeah.
Okay. I'll put them here, open them up here in a second. While I'm taking the next question.
Love them. I can't wait for them to come out. So
gotcha. I didn't see the question, but I definitely would love to see more merch, and would love to start wearing the hourglass and so forth. Y'all got it.
While we're on the subject, hey, let us know in the comments if there's anything you want specific for merchandise that we haven't thought of. We're open to suggestions.
Gotcha. And on their Twitter too, because sometimes I've had last night's stream didn't seem to come with the comments, so I'm not sure if it's working or not. So I just want to make sure they get stored here, or so put those on their Twitter page just in case. because I want to make sure. think I might have to figure that out. But hey, continuous improvement is what it is. For the other question, while I go look for the images, for new investors that are interested in this project, what is the least amount to own to start receiving the drip?
1,000 Reaper.
So to clarify on that, it's going to be, as long as the drip is more than the transaction fee for the drip, you will still receive it. Even if you only own one Reaper, if that is going to receive more than a transaction fee, you would receive some amount.
Gotcha. All right. Now, while we're doing that, here is the pictures, guys, that you were waiting for. There is going to be a hoodie. I'm assuming the Reaper token will not be overlapping the hood like that, but it'll be on the back.
Yeah, just for a mock-up.
And there's the other of the hands, diamond hands, or diamond skeleton hands. So awesome stuff. I would love to see a mug that says get reaped, but well, that's just my 2 cents.
Who says there weren't mugs? We just gave you some sneak peeks, not all of them.
True. Appreciate that. We'll see what comes out.
I do like the diamond hands for Reaper. That's a nice touch.
It is. Any open positions for someone interested in joining the team?
So API programmers, absolutely. Marketers, writers, financial gurus, we're pretty open. And if you're really dedicated, we have done some basically tryouts with some people where we'll give them a small signing bonus to start working with us. And then if they, continue to show value, then we negotiate what that value is to and how much they're worth to the team.
Awesome. So someone have something to say? Or okay. Like Steven's flipping pages. Richard, is the drip still going to be every 2 weeks?
Yep, the drip will follow every reaping.
Okay. And so the next question is from Rich. How about a crypto bacon bits advo artwork on some of the merchandise? What? Someone know what that is?
Crypto Bacon Bits makes some pretty solid memes and artwork for Reaper, and I've seen them a lot on Twitter, so it's pretty awesome. And I'm down for that. Steven, if you want to touch base with Bacon Bits and see if he's in agreement, and we could for sure throw some of that on the artwork for the merchandise.
So we have a couple of people volunteering for jobs inside of the chat, as well as some ideas there for different options for swag. So I'll leave those there for you guys. I have a question in terms of, you said something that I don't see the chat focusing on, and you've mentioned a couple of times, is now every vote counts. Yeah. So what does that mean in terms of the options that you guys have are randomized right now? Does that change?
So for now, it's not going to change that portion because we can only list 20 tokens at one time. Okay. However, it means that the validity of those tokens is no longer very relevant, because if it's a rug pull or something that, like, for instance, was already dead, let's say Xburn, and let's say Xburn is already dead, they did their rug pull and somebody's holding that bag, they could go place a sell order on the books on a DEX, and if they voted for it to be reaped, then that's fine because it makes no difference to us. We're going to destroy those tokens anyway.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you've talked in the past on the previous AMA about the tokens being reduced in terms of the number. Are you guys going to do that, or has that been decided yet?
What do you mean tokens being reduced in terms of
the number of tokens you can vote on? We've had 20 the past reaping.
No, we're going to stick to 20.
You're going to stick to 20 with the, okay, just making sure, because there was some talk. I know this might change things, so I'm good to know. Glad I asked the question. Next question I have is, Patrick, can you please give your added take on the government possibility, I guess, of creating a new Bretton Woods deal.
Yep. So it's not necessarily going to be very similar to the Bretton Woods, but there is a pretty solid chance that we see a CBDC within the next 2 years for the US dollar. Given the last executive order out of the Biden administration, it gave a directive to multiple agencies throughout the US government to create a plan within 180 days. And return those plans as far as how to institute a CBDC. That executive order was pretty much the most strong compass pinpoint towards XRP and Ripple that I have ever seen in my life. So it was very clear about proof of work, proof of stake being a bad thing and wanting to have a green option. So I think it was pretty obvious where they were going with that. So as far as a Bretton Woods agreement or Bretton Woods-esque agreement, we're already still under the Bretton Woods. So really the US dollar doesn't have to remain a Federal Reserve note per se in order to remain under that agreement. So I think we see our US CBDC come into play, and there is some ways that they can really capitalize on that and make it a legitimate centralized portion of the economy, even more so than Bitcoin, dare I say. So I think we will see that come to pass.
Gotcha. And this is not necessarily a question, but it is a comment that I want to, it prompted a question from me, and I'm going to let other questions flow in. So make sure to put them in the comments, guys, and I'll get to them here. Reaper, you guys, your team, has made good on your commitments, and XRM says much respect. You guys have underpromised and over-delivered on your timelines, everything you guys have done. So I just want to say again, congratulations to that. And are you guys going to do anything to celebrate? I mean, are you guys taking time to celebrate your achievements, because you're kicking butt and taking names? So I just want to ask.
So next week we're actually all meeting up in Phoenix, and we're hitting up a couple of VCs while we're there, and it's going to be a good time. And it's probably only pretty much one night, but we're going to celebrate how far we've made it and try to do some work to make it farther.
Gotcha. Well, I just wanted to make some time to say congratulations on the announcement's huge for the community, but it's also huge for you guys. So I just want to make sure I take time to say that as well. Jay Atkin has one more question. I just sent my girlfriend enough to have over 1,000 RPR in her ZUM. Took 3 seconds. This puts her over 1,000. Will that qualify her for the drip now?
Yes.
Awesome.
I hope you plan on marrying that girl, because
it's awesome. So you have to have over 1,000 to qualify for the drip, or
no, just over the minimum transaction fee is all you need to qualify for the drip.
So that's like 0.0000 whatever.
Yep. Usually it's 4 zeros and 1 2. So given the test drip of 500 XRP was 5 zeros 4 8, I think you'd only need like 50 Reaper to qualify for the drip, if my math's right.
Okay. Trying to make sure I get that right, because that's going to be important here in the future. And congratulations to your girlfriend who just received a lot of Reaper. So another question from Richard here. Can you give an example of, if you hold 100K Reaper, approximately how much the drip will you receive, give or take?
So I don't have my calculator in front of me, but let's say the last reaping at probably our lowest price for a reaping yet was about 12,000 XRP. So 1/4 of that for the drip stimulus would be 3,000 XRP, divided by the total number of Reaper tokens in circulation, which is currently 103 million and some odd tokens. So if you take 3,000 divided by the 103 million, then you should have roughly what you would receive per each RPR token held. So that's the way that it's calculated. Somebody in the chat's doing math out there. It's much appreciated.
Gotcha. And I'm a little bit behind on the comments, so I'm not like keeping up exactly, but I'm trying to make sure all the questions do get answered. So appreciate all of your patience, guys. That made a question for me in my head. So if the price of XRP gets lower and you're able to buy more XRP off the market with that Reaper, that means more XRP to us, correct?
Correct.
So a bad day for XRP right now while we're going through this horrible lawsuit is a good day for us, when Reaper's around, right?
Exactly. A bad day for XRP is a good day for Reaper holders, and a good day for XRP is a good day for Reaper holders.
Yep. I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win. So that's awesome. Not going to do it, Patrick. I'm not going to do it. Is the project whale proof? And if so, what's the max of each holder will have?
So there's no such thing as a max that each holder will have. However, because now every single vote counts and the drip is distributed based on per each Reaper token, it doesn't matter if someone else owned 50% of the supply, which of course nobody does, right? But even if they did, that wouldn't diminish the value of your Reaper holdings at all. The ratio of your strength against the rest of the token holders is no longer relevant whatsoever, because whatever you vote for, it gets reaped, and whatever you hold, you're receiving the drip.
Gotcha. So now we got Curly here. Says, don't you think the government will just use USDC for their stablecoin, I'm assuming?
Not the USDC we have seen already, because it is not hosted by the Treasury, the Fed, or BlackRock.
Gotcha. All right. From Jimmy Life XRP, how would Ripple benefit by allowing IMF to assume ownership of XRP's escrow?
Last I checked, the IMF is something like the WHO and UNICEF and the Red Cross. They have no real authority aside from recommendations and kind of yelling from the corner loudly. So the IMF would not ever do that. The Treasury or the Federal Reserve might do that. As far as how they would benefit, it would only be in if they can sell those XRP, the escrow, to other countries based on bonds, similar to how they do US Treasury bonds now to back foreign banks.
Gotcha. Next question is from Crypto Ace. Can you go more into the SEC stuff that you filed for Patrick?
Okay, so I did make contact with the SEC and I spoke to them on the phone. I called to, I'll just use her first name. I don't recall her last name. So spoke to one of their attorneys, Megan, who is part of the FinHub, or basically the SEC set up an office just to speak to cryptocurrency developers, and they claim to be an open door. So basically how that conversation went was that any conversation or advice that they give in anything we do is not any sort of legally binding or protective advice. And they recommended, again, attorney to make those calls. And I said, well, I have an attorney. They're currently involved with an SEC suit right now. Mm-hmm. To which they're like, oh, well, maybe you should get a different one. So I said, well, I could get 100 other attorneys, but none of them could tell me what is or isn't legal by the SEC, because the SEC can't tell me what is or isn't legal by the SEC. So that's a good conversation on our part, because what we can essentially do is prove that we are making the effort. And I'm going to continue to make the effort. I have an appointment to speak to more SEC attorneys and Megan's manager and a few other people. So we'll continue to hammer that out until they give me a solid yes or no.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's another question here about the SEC, and that is, can the SEC come after Reaper Project?
Can they? Absolutely. Will they? if they do, that means that we're doing very well and we're succeeding, and we have a more substantial market cap, which means that they have to have, reason to go after us after that, which, so I have done a deep dive into all the other DeFi lawsuits out there, and basically all of them are based on false premises. So I will say that the SEC has not really gone after any legitimate DeFi projects yet to date, because BlockFi, for example, had raised $450 million pre-launch that they used as a Ponzi scheme, basically. So the new investors were paying the old investors. And the way that I think it was MGD worked, they had $30 million of loans in auto loans that they claimed were backed by auto loans, because the owner also owned a auto loan company. However, there was no actual ties between the businesses. So it was a false premise. So that's what the SEC has largely gone after in DeFi thus far. The IRS, on the other hand, basically said DeFi is not being touched yet. It's not their problem. And after my research into existing case law, I'm satisfied that we are not stepping on any toes as of yet.
So, but I mean, it doesn't mean you're not disrupting, and people won't view you as stepping on their toes somehow, right?
Yeah, there's always going to be detractors and competition, and people who are going to come in complaining one way or the other. But I feel we're on firm foundation, and we have not used investors' funds in any way. So I'm confident.
Yeah, I didn't mean that you guys were going to do anything like that. I just mean that, like, people are attacking, I believe, XRP and LBRY for being on the right side of things and for having, disruptive technologies. And you guys could be very well the next target because of that, disruptive force. I mean, even you're disruptive to the disruptive force. Like, you are reaping other people's tokens that are disrupting everything else. So.
And I'll throw out that, we're also very comfortable with the idea of working out of another country. If for some reason it came to it, we would happily base out of the Caymans, the Bahamas, Dubai, Isle of Man. And if you know any of those locations, you know that I've already done my research on that, and we're going to have backup offices in those countries, and that's fine by me. But we want to do business in the US, and we want this to be based out of the country that is the foundation of global currencies under the Bretton Woods.
Gotcha. Want to make sure I got other questions here. Try this one from Jay. Is not a CBDC counter to what we are trying to do with DeFi? Having a government able to size your CBDC because it is their currency, or am I missing something?
So the CBDC is not up to us. I mean, obviously, that's the government's going to go ahead with that, with or without us. So as far as will they be able to seize your currency, we really don't know. I would say odds are yes. It's a little bit of a scary future in that way. So the best advice I can give as far as how that will be managed is get out and vote, and let your representatives know that you are voting based on values and principles and ethics in concerns to freedom of market, freedom of how you spend your money, and you want it to shape out in a certain way.
Okay. Chris Thomas, Ripple Development Billion XRP Fund. Any thoughts for funding for RPR?
Yes, so we do intend to apply to the Ripple Development Grants Fund, and we have a few different areas, but we would focus mainly on the reaping of debts as far as the Reaper, and we also plan to apply for the block.
Gotcha. And awesome. Does that mean, sorry, before we get to this question, does that mean more, if you were to receive a grant from that XRP fund, what would be your use for that? Like, where would do you have a specific target area for growth that whether it be more people on the team, marketing? What would it be?
Specifically, it would be hiring full-time API programmer developers and centralizing an office.
Gotcha. Just curious. Follow up on that, just in case. And have you guys applied for that already, or?
We have not yet.
Okay, just put that out there. I figured that'd be a good follow-up question. Next is from Steve Stafford. Will we see a vote on your site with every vote when every vote counts?
That's the next reaping and onward.
And so the next reaping being the 26th, correct?
That's correct.
And it'll be out 2 days before, which the reaping vote should start the 17th, and we'll know sooner than that.
Reaping vote will start the 24th.
Oh, sorry. Yes, reaping vote will start the 24th. Will we know sooner the options like you've been doing consistently? Will that stay the same?
Yes, that should be available Monday at the latest.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that we have those expectations out there. Sorry, I did it again. From Jimmy Life XRP, does XRP as an American innovation single-handedly extend the cycle that USA remains the superpower given the decline of the dollar?
I would say yes. And it's amazing. Everyone looks at the shadow forces out there, right? That they think are running things, or that things will only end up one way. Reality is one person, one individual has a lot more impact on the end result than most people realize. I think Margaret Mead said it best, that never doubt the ability of a small group of people to change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So in this case, Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple and their efforts in the way that they acquired and implemented XRP made a massive difference in the US ability to drive forward as the central hub of finance in the world. Most countries do not extend from one currency being the global reserve currency into being the next global reserve currency. If you look back to the UK and Germany, and we're going back into the 1800s here, but the reality is 70 years is a pretty good run for a central currency.
Gotcha. From DMAC again, or DMACE, can and or will RPR ever public?
So we do plan on at some point taking a company public on account of there's a lot of power behind the Reaper idea and what it can do. And not all of that power should be mine or the team's. We do want it to be a decentralized entity, and as automated as it can be, it will become more and more decentralized.
So here's you got so far we have, from my understanding, we're very decentralized in terms of maybe there's a couple whales, I don't know, but we're very decentralized right now. As Reaper grows, the decentralization grows. And why would you guys as a company, could not the RPR token be used in some way, or a derivative, like another coin that's airdropped to those, which I guess would be a security at that point because it has to do with the company, right? Mm-hmm. Because my fear is that if we have the stock separate from the token and the token is very distributed, and if the stock were to do something different than with the token holders, that could potentially be a threat, right? Or if someone buys a ton of the stock and just all of a sudden starts throwing it around.
So the way that the drip fund works, right, it'll be a permanent drip fund and only the interest will be paid out. So let's say that we're 5 to 10 years down the road and the price of Reaper goes down, the amount of the drip does not go down with the price of Reaper, right? So then the value of holding Reaper stays the same regardless of the price. So as the price goes down, it's just that much more tempting or that much more valuable to buy. So that means
seems to have lost. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we went cut out for a second. Say that again. Last part.
So as we get down the road, basically when the price of Reaper goes down, the value of holding Reaper stays the same or goes up, because you can pay less to get the same drip or more. So with that, the price of a stock as related to Reaper won't really affect the value of Reaper. So what that basically enables us by going public and creating a stock for the company is it enables us to branch out farther and harder with more employees to go and enable more mechanisms. So there is 2 or 3 more utilities and phases to this that I haven't put out there yet.
Okay.
And those can be developed, but they're going to require us to be a Fortune 500 with at least 500 employees at that point. And I do see us getting there, but again, I'm not going to make the promise until it's being carried out.
Gotcha. I would just the stock and what that may entail for the company in terms of people deciding Reaper's direction is kind of a scary thought to me. But of course, I trust you and your plans for that. You've already done amazing, so we just hate for anything to change.
And I will counter that as far as people who are concerned about the stock is that the Boston Stock Exchange, which has been approved by the SEC, is going to be a blockchain-based stock exchange. And I would say within 5 to 10 years, everything on NASDAQ and the S&P 500 and the Dow, it's all going to be blockchain-based. So stocks and crypto are going to merge into one entity at one point or another. It's just an inevitability at this point.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll see what the future holds then. Jay Hamilton asks, what is anticipated VC amount and timelines? Price action result? Question mark.
So VC, as far as amount, every VC is an individual, and every VC has different motivations and different valuations, and we're going to ask for a specific amount for a specific amount of equity, and they're more than likely going to counter with a different amount for a different amount of equity. And really, as far as the price reaction to that, that's of course up to the community. But I think it's also going to depend greatly on who the VC is, if it's an individual who's well known, or if it's just a kind of unknown venture capital fund out there that just happens to throw some money at us, but no one's ever heard of them. So some different VCs bring things to the table, and other VCs really don't. All they have is the cash. So I really can't say until we have them in pocket.
Gotcha. All right. Ask more questions about that if you would like to clarify. But we're moving on to DMace again. Do you agree with Jimmy Valley about the true price of XRP?
I agree, and honestly, I would say that's a bottom.
And what was that? What would that price be for those who are not familiar with Jimmy Valley and his predictions?
So I think he had it around 37,000, if I'm not mistaken. It was 27 or 37,000 per XRP. So the reason I would say that's a bottom is because I know how much money and fake money and or should I say computer code that represents dollars is already floating around out there in the world, especially not just publicly, but privately, and by privately, I mean inside government organizations. Not to go conspiratorial on anyone, but you can go look at the documents leaked by Edward Snowden back in 2013 that included 168 different projects with black budgets. Black budget meaning money that isn't actually part of the treasury. It doesn't really exist. It's just being spent, right? Mm-hmm. So there's easily, between 300 to 500 trillion US dollars in circulation. And all you can really do is take that and the debts and the assets, add all of those together and divide that by the number of XRP. And that's how you should arrive at the value of XRP should it become the global reserve currency.
Gotcha. I think there's some good logic there. But of course, DMace follows up and asks, if you don't agree, will it be willing to do a sit down with Jimmy Valley and on why you disagree with Jimmy Valley?
I'd be happy to sit down with Jimmy Valley either way.
Okay. Sounds good. Jimmy Valley, reach out, hit up their Twitters. When do you see foresee being able to reap the stock market?
I'd give it 2 to 3 years before we see the Boston Exchange stand up. I think we'll see some tokenized debts come across Robinhood. The reason I specifically target or say Robinhood on that is they're a growing company that tries to appeal to the younger crowd, and they're trying to grow their base. There's only so many ways for them to grow from where they're currently at. And so they have added the cryptocurrency, and they have Bitcoin and Litecoin and Doge and those sorts of things. But really, when tokenized stocks start coming along, I would say Robinhood would be one of the first in that game, just because their model really allows for it. And I expect them to take a lead on that.
Gotcha. Another question here. Was actually, well, I had a question. Now it's gone. Crap. All right, we'll go with Shadrach here. Is there any possibility that the 0.4 cents threshold to start the drip will be lowered? And if you're just now tuning in, Shadrach, Patrick has announced that, but I'll let him recover it here as well.
Yeah, so anyone that wasn't here earlier, basically, we are starting the drip as of the next reaping. It's going to follow every reaping. 50% of the sale will go towards reaping funds, which will be used on every single vote counting. So out of the 20, if you only vote 1,000 RPR, your vote counts, and we're going to designate 1,000 RPR worth of that drip, or the reaping funds, will go towards your vote. And then for the other 50% of the reaping sale, that is going to be 25% going towards the drip fund to create the interest-bearing account. And the other 25% is going to be the drip stimulus, which is going to be automatically dripped to all RPR holders relative to your holdings.
Gotcha. Okay, so since you guys are doing Every Vote Matters now, I'm assuming the programming is there to be able to automate the drip. Is that true?
So the drip is not automated, but it's it's through an airdrop tool. So there's a little bit of manual work, but the drip is through a similar tool to an airdrop.
Okay, so it's not going to mean hours and hours for the Reaper team during every reaping, right?
So the drip is pretty easy. The reapings themselves, out of the 20, I am going to be doing each one of those manually for now. That should take me a few hours. So once the sale of Reaper tokens concludes, you can expect it within the next probably 5 or 6 hours. It should be complete. Probably less than that, but I don't want to make too many promises.
Might take lunch or something in between there. Yeah. It's important to eat.
It'll be a long day for me.
Gotcha. Well, on that, you've done the Reaper team, should I say, has done a really good job of posting the addresses and everything for the reapings. Will we have the same amount of transparency now that we're going to this system, or how is that going to change?
Yes, I will be posting up a reaping receipt for every single token that is reaped, and the amount, and how that amount represents the percentage of the vote. Gotcha.
So I do want to encourage the community here. That alone is a lot of work for the Reaper team, not just doing the reapings themselves, but if we could, as a community, rally around those tweets and those images that they are putting out, I really do believe that we are now able to target a lot more tokens, and your vote counts for these reapings. So you now have an opportunity to share with these different communities their token being reaped. And so I just want to applaud you for keeping up that transparency, and also giving the community an opportunity to really share those with their different token communities. So, sorry, did it again.
Got it again. I'm gonna start counting.
We have to give me a tally at the end of the night. Y'all guys can start doing me in the chat, like keep a tally. I'm going to get past it, guys. I'm going to stop it somehow. Jay Atkin, I'm holding a class to teach people in my small hometown about crypto. Is there any chance I could have some video time with you guys to recruit some folks into the space? Maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I love teaching just in general. Just being in the military for 15, 16 years, teaching is just goes with with the territory as an NCO, it's almost half of my job in the military is just teaching what I know. So I've also taught finance classes on cryptocurrency. I stick to the macros and the basics and try to make that as elementary as possible. So sure, yeah, just send me a message on Twitter and I'll do my best to make that, and I'd be happy to assist you in teaching.
Awesome. Cypher Knight has how much RPR coins do you need to hold to be considered a whale? I'm sure whatever you say, it'll automatically go up after it. So
yeah, you need 103 million. No, I just can't. So I would say anybody that is on the rich list, top 100, is probably safe to say they're a whale. I haven't actually looked at what that is lately. I know there are some people that have more than 1 million tokens. There's not very many of them. And then I think anything over 100,000 is probably a pretty solid bag. Not to say that less than that isn't a solid bag, but yeah.
Especially as XRP rises, right? So if people don't know where to go to look to see if they're a whale, what tool would you recommend for them to be able to go and check how they stack against the rest of the community?
Yep. So there's a few different rich lists that you can check out. There's richlist.xyz, richlist.io, the XRPL coins, and I think they may have removed it now. We had a previous rich list. And then also you can always check XRP scan.
Gotcha. Sorry, wrong one here. So Jimmy Life XRP retweets on Reaper News is talking your book and helps expose. So remember to stay involved by retweeting often. Drip may go up with exposure or help with exposure for sure. That's all the questions we have, guys. So make sure to put your questions in the chat. I'll come back to them here in a second as more fall in. Sam, Jason, Patrick, is there anything that hasn't been asked tonight or anything you'd like to say about the opportunities that this might bring to the community for your announcements?
I'll let the team go first.
I'm excited to start the drip. I think that's going to be really cool. So I don't really have anything else to say besides that, but yeah, I think it's a good move.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just say I'm excited to be part of the team. It's a lot of being the newest one in. There's a lot of great dynamics happening behind the scenes, and as JT said, we want to make sure we're under promising and over delivering. So just know that in the background we're talking about I'd say 12 months ahead of where we're talking right now and what we're discussing, but we want to make sure before we bring all our ideas to you guys that we're in a position to be able to do what we say we can do and have it mapped out beforehand. But just realize there's a lot of, I personally think coming in, there's a lot of big things happening in the background over the long term. So
Gotcha. I see a couple, one I'd consider a goofy question. And so I would actually encourage the community to now is the time to ask as much goofy questions as you'd like to ask. And I'll get to them here in a second. But I am kind of interested. You guys have beat your roadmap here a little bit. Has your roadmap changed a little, or are you guys going to adapt? Like, what's the next thing that you guys are planning on tackling?
We will adjust our roadmap to update it a little bit. So the next thing in line is really automation, and that's what we need to get to. As we work on that, marketing is our big focus now. So we're really going to start our marketing push now that we have the drip and every vote counts. That's definitely the next step.
Gotcha. Okay. We have Crypto Ace again. Patrick, can you play Sam a game of pool? I need to know who is the billiard boss.
Sam's got a few years on me. He might have me.
I might have a pool table at my house too. So
Gotcha. That wouldn't help me, but yeah. Okay. Well,
I'll bring my own cue, Sam.
It works. Let's do it.
That Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, what's his name? Phil breaking his queue out. Awesome. But yeah, do you guys have any crazy questions for the team? Any insights into who they are, or getting to know them better? So they are doxed, but maybe we don't know as much about them as we should. Maybe there's something you would like to know more about them. Now's the time, guys. So RC asks, any plans to have RPR added to the Power Piggy on Bitrue? Thank you. You're welcome.
No, just because Power Piggy would be kind of a competing investment protocol with the drip. So I don't think that the Power Piggy could pay out as well as the drip on a trust line. And if you have your RPR on Bitrue, you won't receive the drip because Bitrue is going to mix your wallet with everyone else on Bitrue, and it rejects on the drip tool.
Gotcha. Next question, Rosemary. Question for Patrick. Your brother is in North Dakota. Is that where you grew up?
Nope. I hadn't been in North Dakota till my brother moved there.
Swing and a miss, Rosemary. Try again. Of course, we got Genty here. Any exchanges?
So exchanges, we have applied to quite a few, but I'm not going to promise anything till basically we'll let you know when it's a day or two till listing.
Gotcha. And so Jimmy asks here, just for clarity, you do need 100K Reaper to see real benefits from holding this token.
Not at all. So I would point out that when we were initially launched just 3 months ago, the value of the airdrop was only 4 XRP. So if you are only holding the airdrop, the chances of you recouping that 4 XRP through the drip in less than a year would be extremely high, because you're going to receive that drip after every single reaping, and you don't have to do anything at all to continue to receive the drip. So the reality is, whether you own 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, as long as we are able to continue to do this, it's like receiving a dividend in perpetuity.
Gotcha. Question from Shadrach. Why does Patrick not wear his suit and tie anymore?
So I do. I'm moving right now, actually. So my house is pretty much empty behind me. So I packed all my suits. So
gotcha. D-Mace asks, what's your military background and what clearance, where to and why?
What clearance would require a little bit more specification. My background is as a combat medic, and I have served in, that's my 7th or 8th duty station, and I've done a significant amount of time in civil affairs and PSYOPs, which is under SOCOM. I've deployed to Iraq, Mexico, Malaysia, Palau, Micronesia, Mongolia, Thailand, quite a few places all over Southeast Asia, and a few others. And I speak a couple languages, so it's good. I don't know what the clearance question what the question is there exactly.
Gotcha. If you want to type it in the chat again, we'll be happy to get to that. This is a good question, and I think this also might be, sure they want to hear from everybody on the team, but why do all of you guys know why RPR would outperform XRP? Or yeah.
RPR is more exclusive, and all of the benefits that XRP will have, RPR should have, in that you're getting paid in XRP. So XRP has a supply of 39 billion, I believe, in circulation. I might be a little off on that number. Reaper currently has 103 million, and it would take us 60 years to have an equal amount of supply to XRP. So you're going to be, at some point, it's very possible you could be receiving more XRP than you hold Reaper token if the Reaper price is higher than XRP. Just speculating there, but there's definitely a chance for Reaper token to surpass XRP in at least in periods of time.
Yeah. And do y'all see a future where that happens, or that like?
I see a future where we are a top 10 token. I also see a future where XRP is the number one token. Given that XRP as the number one token still will have 39 billion plus in circulation, and we'll still have less than 200 million for the next 5 years plus. That means that there's a very real chance that we could be under XRP on the CoinMarketCap listings, but still have a higher price point than XRP.
Gotcha. Anyone else have anything else to say on that question? No? Okay.
I think Patrick summed it up pretty well.
Okay, cool. I don't want to like railroad you guys. So if you guys have a question, please, or if you guys have an answer for something, please feel free to stop me. So if I've done that, I apologize. So can we turn your little song into a drinking game? Yes, you can. But I cannot participate because I still have to host. So ha 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 ha. Good job.
You're gonna have to record it.
I'm gonna have to record it. And then you can play it wherever you want and take however many shots you want. So that's yeah, how that works. A tip for the spear, a tip of the spear. Okay. Another question about the security clearance. What's your security clearance? What if being a combat vet, would you need one? How many, what levels?
So I do have a security clearance. I maintain. I'm not out of the military yet. To be clear, I am still active duty right now, and so there's multiple different levels of security clearance. You know that you have your standard confidential, secret, and top secret, and then there are special access programs. And generally, if you work in the areas I do, you have access to certain SAPs, which is based on need to know basis. And so I know things that, other people with top secret and SAPs don't know, and they know things I don't know. And that's how it generally works, is it's very compartmentalized.
And then that leads into this next question. What aren't you not telling yourself?
What am I not telling myself?
Yes. What are you not telling you?
Uh,
Sorry, that was a great question. I was just interested to see how you're gonna answer it. So I thought it was a great question. I said goofy questions count, and I appreciate those here. So I will pose them. So I thought it was great. Steve Stafford, do you have a lot of VCs waiting to get involved with you after the lawsuit with the SEC?
I don't know that they're waiting to get involved, but I've definitely had about a dozen that mentioned the SEC lawsuit and why they did not want to move forward right now, despite being very interested in the project.
Gotcha. What are you not telling us? Is his D-Mace's clarification there?
So I'm not telling you everything that I haven't told you already.
Awesome. And we won't know until you tell us. So until you have the clearance to be able to tell us, or it's not, that stuff.
Yeah.
Next question from General. Since Patrick is still active and with what's going on overseas, what would happen to Reaper project if he gets called to duty?
We have a plan of action for that. So I do at times deploy on short notice. So we have a full system in place that will take over if I have to depart for some amount of time.
Gotcha. Well, we've gone over an hour here. And so I do want to give the option to the team. Do you want to take like 2 or 3 more questions and wrap it up? Or how are you feeling?
Sure. Yeah. 2 or 3 more sounds great.
Okay. So next question is, we'll do 3. This is the first of 3. Ravi, any collaborations happening with other teams in the XRPL. And yes, I think I might have skipped over this, Ravi, so I apologize. And in what areas, like the Treasury with their new white paper, XDX, etc.
So we are collaborating in the means of the block, and we do work with both the Treasury and have spoken to XDX on that as well. So there's at this time there's no purely business collaborations. We are going to be working. Well, I take that back. We are working with XSticks on a NFT project with them. Sorry, Stephen, if I stole your thunder on that one. But we are always coordinating with at least about 20 other projects that we work very closely with to make sure that we're doing the best for the community.
Gotcha. And 2 of 3, Cypher Knight asks, when DD214? Question mark. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, DD214, for those that don't know, is basically your discharge paperwork that says you are officially out of the military, you have ended your term of service, and you can move on with your life as a real person.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know when exactly that will be. I hope sooner rather than later, but I'll probably get a blanket made.
Okay. And of course, the last question looks like there is. This is 3 of 3. Where is the RPR coin? I thought it said merch.
Yeah. So it says, where's the
merch?
RPR coin merch? So we're looking at less than a week, hopefully. And we're just waiting on our supplier to send us the invoice so we can pay them and get that up and running and sold.
Is that going to be something that's going to be on the website that they can, or is that going to be through a third party that they can go to that website?
I think it's going to be a third party starting out, and then we'll plug into that.
Okay, cool. And that wraps us up tonight, guys, with the Reaper token announcing that the reapings will be happening every 2 weeks, and every reaping now counts. And the drip is starting at the next reaping, which is the 26th, which is the next Saturday from the time of this recording or this live stream. So any last thoughts, final comments, clarifications, team, before we end out? Nope.
No,
I think we covered everything.
Yep. And yeah,
I would have jumped in more often, but Patrick always does a great job of explaining stuff, so
Hey.
I don't really need to say much.
Yeah, I'm a
ask him?
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
it's all good. We'll definitely appreciate all of you joining us tonight and all of you guys who are watching. I'm JTXRP. This is the Reaper team. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and stick around for more news about the next reaping. And hopefully I can have the team back here again. But I'm JTXRP.